Hello and welcome to the Celebrating Life podcast with Sony Thomas. Let me invite you to a small thought that can create a big impact for you in celebrating your life. In today's episode of Small Thought Big Impact, we learn ways to overcome the pain of unmet expectation. I bet there is no one who can claim they have not experienced disappointment. It is a plague that infests the rich, the poor, the old, the young, the fat, the skinny, the tall, the short, the white, the black. You get the idea. Disappointment is the sadness or displeasure caused by the non-fulfillment of one's hopes or expectations. Everyone goes through unmet expectation, but how we define, internalize, process, and manage the disappointment affects the quality of one's life. One child might feel disappointed when the parents say, "No ice cream for dinner," while another child might feel disappointment when there is no food for dinner. In both cases, the feeling of disappointment experienced by the child is true. In that moment, the magnitude of disappointment is the same. No ice cream and no food rationally are not the same situation. But for the child faced by unmet expectations, the feeling of disappointment is the same. It's a gap between the expectation and the reality. And for both kids, the reality did not meet their expectation. As adults, we are able to rationalize many unmet expectations and not get disappointed over trivial ones, like no ice cream for dinner. However, sadly, there are adults who have not grown in their emotional capacity that they can still get disappointed at not having ice cream for dinner. Of course, ice cream being a metaphor to depict unmet expectations. They have not developed their disappointment muscles. Or let me put it in another way, they have been robbed of the opportunity as children to strengthen their disappointment muscle. Why do I say they were robbed? Because many parents and caregivers in the formative years of the child would not have allowed the child to process their own disappointment. Rather, they would have rescued the child by providing immediate gratification that met the child's expectation. Disappointment is an unpleasant emotion, but not a bad emotion. In fact, it has been cited as a healthy emotion in a child's intellectual and social development. Not to place blame on anyone, but when a parent, teacher, or a guardian denies a child in their formative years to experience disappointment, process it, and overcome it, chances are they will turn out to be adults who cannot take the bigger gaps of expectation and reality well. They become frustrated, aggressive, and difficult people because they have not strengthened the emotional muscles that are required to process disappointment. Just like it's never too late to go to the gym to develop your biceps, it's never too late to develop your disappointment muscles. Here are some steps you can follow to intentionally work on strengthening your disappointment muscles. First step is to acknowledge your feeling. You might be feeling sad, angry, irritated, or unhappy because your reality did not meet your expectations. Unmet expectations, like no ice cream, can lead to a horde of reactions. Maybe it might be difficult to acknowledge your feeling in the moment. You might be going through a roller coaster of emotions. Once you calm yourself down using any technique that helps you, then take time to acknowledge your feeling. Embrace your feelings and thought and never bury it without acknowledging it. The next step is to dissect the incident. In biology, it is common practice to dissect a frog to learn the anatomy. Just like that, once you dissect the situation surrounding your disappointment, you can clearly see the pieces of the puzzle that led up to the disappointing outcome. It is casually said, failure is a stepping stone to success. I say the sentence is incomplete. Reflected failure is the way to success. So, by dissecting the incident, you are allowing yourself to reflect on it and learn from it. So, next time you can be more vigilant to manage your disappointment in a similar situation. Once you lay out the parts of the incident, the next step is to assign accountability. In every situation of disappointment, there are more than one force at play. And once you match each part of the situation with its corresponding owner, now you will be able to see the things that are in your control and the things that are not in your control. You will see then how you are in control of only yourself, and you will be able to assign accountability to yourself. And from here, you can build your next course of action. The circumstances of no ice cream might be created by someone else, but how you respond to it, it is created by you. Absolving yourself of responsibility of your sadness and projecting the blame on others does not help. Blaming others or the circumstances disempowers you from taking action to move forward. But filtering down the incidents to its parts can help you better leverage your disappointment. The next step to improve your disappointment muscle is to adjust the magnitude of disappointment. Now that you know your role in the matter, you can start adjusting the magnitude of the feeling by rationalizing the feelings. With regard to no ice cream, in the grand scheme of things, how important is ice cream? Or can this unmet expectation be met again some other day? Or is the disappointment of not getting ice cream and losing your promotion warrant the same reaction? By putting feelings into perspective, one can bring down the intensity of the disappointment and give you a clearer idea on your next action. It will turn your helplessness to hopefulness. By acknowledging your feelings, dissecting the incident, assigning accountability, and adjusting the magnitude of disappointment, you're allowing yourself to flex your disappointment muscle and rise above the disappointment. Celebrating life is about the journey, and if I have brought value to your journey of life, I urge you to share this small thought with a close friend, a family member, or even a colleague so we can together build a happier world. For more thoughts on celebrating life, I invite you to stay connected with us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the Celebrating Life community. Thank you for your time and make it a wonderful day.